I'd like to introduce Jeff Bragg from the New South Wales Solar Installers Association. Did I get that
right? Close. Hi everybody, thanks for the opportunity to speak. I thought I'd talk about fluctuating government policy and how business deals with it, basically, solar businesses, of which I'm involved. Policy change really leads to instability and boom-bust cycles. It's like the on-off switch for the industry. And have you ever been in a taxi where the person's either on the accelerator or hard on the brake and it's go, stop, go, stop? That's what it's like to be, and it's a rough ride. Governments consistently underestimate the take-up of solar schemes, and people just love solar. From a business perspective, it's impossible to know when to invest in staff, training and equipment. We applaud the government for their initiative with these schemes, but not for consistency. I long for the day when government assistance is not needed to sustain the solar industry. Since I've been working in solar, we've had just a handful of policy changes, which hopefully we're going to appear on the screen.
No, not working?
No?
Okay,
which have gone on from this past decade on and off with various schemes, up and down, rebates here, cuts there, introduction of a new scheme and back. We spend half our time explaining to people what these schemes are and how they work, rather than getting on with the business of actually designing and installing solar power. Understanding and communicating and adapting to all of these policy changes, as I say, becomes a major part of running a solar business, and it's an administrative nightmare. When government doesn't consult with constituents and industry with policy changes, things can go horribly wrong. Take New South Wales, just of recent weeks, with the proposed retrospective legislation came a loss of faith in government and industry alike. And thankfully we seem to have had that decision turned around, which is a great win for the people, and to all of you who've been sending emails to all of the MPs and various people in recent weeks. I thank you wholeheartedly, because we've had a real win there. We just need to work for something going forward. By the way, the rallies which were planned across the state for this coming week have all been cancelled, including the one outside Kevin Anderson's office in Tamworth tomorrow. So I phoned him to let him know it's off, which is great. Rooftop PV systems can help to manage rising energy costs for households, but we need the right government policy, and a national one-for-one feed-in tariff as a minimum, and a right to connect to the national grid enshrined in legislation would be a good start. A one-for-one tariff, as energy costs rise, the return from solar does too. So, for example, if you're paying 23 cents a kilowatt hour for your electricity, when you export power to the grid, we believe you should be credited to the same amount. It's simple and it's fair, and it's not going to be anywhere near as costly as the sort of mismanaged state schemes that have been running across the country over the last couple of years. There's work to be done on the design of such a national scheme, but certainly there are people in our industry who are working very hard on costing and looking at all the options for this, and we're ready to assist. Perhaps we need a self-consumption bonus like Germany. I don't know if any of you are aware, over there they have a base feed-in tariff, but with a bonus if more than 40% of the energy generated is consumed on site. And that reduces the impact on the grid with the high saturation of distributed generation that certainly in Germany they're experiencing, and hopefully we will be in the coming decade. Sad to say, but let's learn from the solar leaders, Germany. Engagement with energy. For me, this is the most overlooked benefit of rooftop solar panels, and that is people's engagement and understanding of energy production and use. It's clear when you talk to people about installing solar that getting to understand how much energy they use and where it's all going, and looking at energy efficiency measures before they invest in solar panels, has a huge impact of understanding about energy use. This engagement is, I believe, the precursor to the societal change we need to have to address climate change effectively. So it's a real benefit above and beyond the actual energy generated. To the carbon price mechanism, for me it's basically about moving away from a carbon economy to a clean energy economy, and it's an excellent opportunity to channel some funds raised from the big polluters into large-scale renewable generation projects like the Solar Flagships program, education, retraining and professional development in renewable technologies, and, as I said before, a national feed-in tariff for renewable distributed generation. We need policy with vision and stability. Thanks very much.